listen. When Akufo Addo, you see, when he went and glamorized violence, you see, the violence he glamorized.
But eventually he became president.
We thought he had changed. And you saw the violence he unleashed on us. The haircuts, unparalleled haircuts. People died. Dr. Agyapong, so many people died. That was more violent than anything.
I think we are reading the research report.
Yes. So we are saying that Brian Agyapong, no, it's not digression. So once Brian Agyapong is shown that he's that violent, Ghanaians will not make that mistake.
I don't know the fetish that you make of.
There are better him.
I don't know the fetish that comes to him upon mention of President Akufo Addo's name.
And we'll come to how he allowed Ofori Atta to run out of Ghana.
Hold on.
We'll come to how Akufo Addo allowed Ofori Atta to run out of Ghana.
You have been consistent that, the NPP would only get your vote back if Patrick Bawumia or Kojo Kyeremanteng is on the ticket.
Yes, and that's in 2032. As for 2028, look, my brother, it's a lost cause. We are not kids. On what grounds? The money they've looted. Why are we foolish? But you are part of president.
You are part of.
You know this is an allegation. You know this is an allegation.
The cases in court are clear.
The cases.
The money they've looted. Why has Ofori Atta fled? Why has he fled? If he was innocent, why wouldn't he sit here? Why would you stay in Ghana?
Or January 31.
What we're doing is that we're going to be doing weekly poll, but we won't put them out. Every week from next year, we'll do every week a number of delegates and tracking them to the last 4 weeks. And then we'll publish the combined result of the 4 polls we'll be doing before the primary, so that we will not be taken by surprise.
I see. So the weekly one is going to be for your own personal.
Yes, it won't come out.
You obviously share with me. But yeah, that's just by the way. Let me welcome Justice Abdullahi, he's private legal practitioner. Justice Abdullahi, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
And thank you for accepting me being late.
On the last Saturday of the year. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The neighbor effect.
Neighbor effect. That's right. So if you have to pull the two of them, to give you an idea of what's happening.
My brother will win because he was earlier in time in the neighborhood.
Absolutely. Great. Now, the Honorable Andy Apiakobi, I'll start off with you for good reason. Just brief comments on this. What we have just run through, what you're looking at, partly because your blood is red, blue, and white. Okay. How is that looking for you?
Well, to me, all the time, I don't underrate the value of research. So I take research very seriously. And this is an indication that we need to work harder. And indeed, the two candidates who are leading, they must work extra hard to be able to do the numbers. I think that, yes, generally, Dr. Bawumia appears to be in the lead, but it is not settled yet because he hasn't crossed the 50% threshold. So it is still possible that another candidate can do better. When I look at the undecided figures, I still think that it is possible to even cause an upset. And we still have one month to go. So 1 month of intensive campaign and mobilizing the undecided voters and the not disclosed voters. I'm very sure that a surprise can emerge. A surprise candidate in Dr. Brian Agyapong is also a possibility.
A surprise candidate in Dr. Brian Agyapong.
The interesting thing is that there is a likelihood of a second round. And if that second round comes, then no one of the three will be confident that I'm getting it. Because any one of the three can get it. Because particularly the person who comes second may be in the pole position to mobilize the others in pursuit of that 50% plus one. So it is not settled yet. And it is interesting because the incumbency advantage is not there. The incumbency disadvantage is there.
True.
I hope you get it.
Yes, I get it.
Because you cannot come from an administration that is perceived not to have done well and want to exonerate yourself from all wrongdoing. No, you can't do that. So the baggage will still be with you. And I'm sure that the delegates are mindful of that. Because at the last primaries, we're looking at 60, 65 numbers. Now we're talking 43. So it means that something has happened. And 1 month of political time is not easy time. So I'm sure that something drastic can happen and the dynamics might change.
And you say you see a surprise candidate?
I see a surprise candidate because most of the people who cannot disclose and most of the people who are undecided, I am very sure that those who are not disclosing, because I am from Dr. Bawumia Agyapong's camp, and I'm sure based on our profiling, which is not the results of the survey, I'm sure most of the undecided are with Dr. Bawumia Agyapong. So let's assume that he becomes second or third.
Yeah.
He will become the decider. Either he himself will decide for, or he will indicate where the voice will go.
So that's open disclosure. He's in Dr. Bawumia Agyapong's camp.
Oh, yes.
Yes, that one we know. Absolutely.
I mean, you know that I am always that kind of person.
Absolutely.
I have always been. All of them have called me, and I have indicated to all of them that I support Dr. Bawumia Agyapong. And this is not a secret. Everybody knows that.
Perfect. Indeed. I know. I don't think Prof.
No, Martin knows it. I told him the last time.
Professor Boakye, did you know this? Except that what?
Bawumia Agyapong, his support for violence, they will not hand over. He will never come near this throne. Never. He himself
why are you able to? You stick out your neck
Akufo Addo
to make this.
No, unfortunately, you don't have the benefit of choosing. So I'm sure it remains your opinion.
He says you're not a delegate.
I am voting. I'm a delegate. So,
but the delegates are listening to us.
I can make a difference. And
I can also make a difference. The delegates are listening. When Akufo Addo, you see, when he went and glamorized violence, you see, the violence he glamorized.
But eventually he became president.
We thought he had changed. And you saw the violence he unleashed on us, the haircuts, unparalleled haircuts. People died. Dr. Agyapong, so many people died and died. That was more violent than anything.
I think we are reading the research report.
Yes. So we are saying that Bawumia Agyapong, no, it's not digression. So once Bawumia Agyapong is shown that he's that violent, Ghanaians will not make that mistake.
I don't know the fetish that you make of.
There are better
I don't know the fetish that comes to him upon mention of President Akufo Addo's name.
And we'll come to how he allowed Ofori Atta to run out of Ghana.
Hold on.
We'll come to how Akufo Addo allowed Ofori Atta to run out of Ghana.
But you have been consistent that, the NPP would only get your vote back if Patrick Bawumia or Kojo Kyeremanteng is on the ticket.
Yes, and that's in 2032. As for 2028, look, my brother, it's a lost cause. We are not kids. On what grounds? The money they've looted, why are we foolish? But me to account to become president.
You are part of.
You know, this is an allegation. You know, this is an allegation.
The cases in court are clear.
The cases.
The money they've looted. Why has Ofori Atta fled? Why has he fled? If he was innocent, why wouldn't he sit here? Why would he stay in Ghana?
Is he the only person who is not in the country?
Let's put it all together.
So there's no way. 2028. I don't see MPP making any
that's your opinion.
Winning the elections. Then it will suggest that we don't have human resources in Ghana. Abdullah can become president. Professor Bopin is here. How can we vote for MPP? Why would we vote for MPP in 2028? It's a no-brainer.
Martin, are you not there?
Yes, so I can also do it. Exactly. And so you can, provided you are not on the ticket of the MPP. So we are sitting here, we also can perform the job. So what would make me want to vote for Bawumia? 2028. No.
So you're still going with
Patrick Bawumia for 2032. Not 2028. As for 2028, let's be realistic. That thing belongs to NDC. 1.7 million votes.
How do you say that they're so confident?
So let's be scientific this way. Look, with JM having gotten close to, JM gave him Bawumia a gap. Bawumia asked for a gap. That the only thing left with is a gap. Let's give them a gap. And of course, JM gave him a gap, a very wide gap, about 1.7 million votes. Now, if you look at our electoral cycle and the way human beings, we are pragmatic. We are not idealistic. So in 4 years, unless the NDC government loots us far more than MPP looted, there's no chance that we'll vote MPP back in 4 years. No, unless the NDC loots well beyond Kennedy Agyapong's statement that MPP was looting like there was no tomorrow. So maybe they should be looting like there's no tomorrow to the highest degree, super looting.
Would that not be concerning that, I mean, we go into an election and our only measure of who is going to lead us is who has looted less?
Yes, because that's common sense. Because look, Mr. Okanse, every government comes and will do some programs in agric, right? Every government, like in the previous regime, they tried their planting for food and jobs, except that it wasn't revolutionary enough, like what this current administration is doing with Nkokon Kitinkiti. That's a Feed Ghana project, Feed Ghana, the research agenda, right? So the previous government wasn't as daring, wasn't as bold, wasn't as revolutionary as this current government, right? Go to education. The current government is
these
continuing.
policies have just started.
Yeah, right.
They have just started.
Yes, but this time, JM knows that if he dare not fail, he himself knows that no, there's no space for failure. So it must only be a win, right? So you look at the sense of urgency, the vigor, etc. You see that this administration is far more purpose than Akufo Addo. Akufo Addo came in with free SHS. But free SHS, yes, and I'm a lifelong ambassador of free SHS. It's laudable, but it wasn't far-reaching enough. Agriculture was a low-hanging fruit where they were supposed to ramp up. And actually, that was the message he brought. And that's one of the reasons I voted for him, that they were going to ramp up a revolutionary agriculture that would deliver jobs and jobs and jobs. And then they did the opposite, right?
Yes, perfect.
Yes, so, I mean, and so the whole thing is that when we say the one who loots far less will be the one to win, it makes sense. In other words, that's the one who keeps the public purse. In Akufo Addo's regime, we lost the public purse. It ended up in his pocket, he and his family.
But you said, you promised us that you were going to take him on.
Yes.
You still have a 3-year period.
Yeah, now two years left. 1 year is gone.
Yes.
This is December. 2 years. Yes, hopefully, because you see, I mean, anybody knowing, if you are pragmatic, I can take Akufo Addo on well when Kissi Agyapong is no longer special prosecutor. Kissi Agyapong is already shown that he's playing for them.
You're bringing conditions to the promise you made.
Yes, at that time, I didn't know Kissi Agyapong was going to play for Akufo Addo. You saw how he started the SML
but you made the
investigations.
promise that you
can bring
would, but there are
civil
other ways.
automatic.
There are
Yes,
other
but I
ways
want
to
the
still-
criminal one. But you see how Kissi Agyapong allowed Ofori Atta to flee before he started investigations. If I send Akufo Addo's petition, that's the same thing.
No, but there are other ways to still.
Yes,
You can
yes,
bring a civil
yes,
action.
but I just hope.
Under Article 41. you can
Yes,
bring a
but you
civil
know
action.
something? Thankfully, under Section 15 of the OSP Act, once I presented my petition, the president has 7 days to send it to the Chief Justice. The 7 days have elapsed. It elapsed on 17th of December because I presented it on 11th.
Okay.
The Chief Justice, also under Section 15 of the same law, has 30 days. After the 30 days, I pray that he will make a prima facie determination that Kissi must answer some of the charges. And once that is made, within 2 weeks, 14 days, they must set up a committee, and the committee must finish its work, like the way for the Poaman committee. They must finish within 90 days. So all I'm saying in one word is that in the next 4 to 5 months, if my petition works, Kissi Agyapong should be out. So when we get a better manager of the OSP, then I can put in my petition. Because
But
Kissi
then again,
Agyapong
that's what
will
I'm
not
saying,
deal with
that
my
the
petition
promise that you made
Yes.
was not
Unconditional.
conditional. It was an unconditional
Oh, don't worry. In
promise
4 to 5 months,
that
we'll
you
get
said
to know.
you will take up and pursue
Oh, the case is there.
the former President Akufo Addo
Yes.
on matters of, as
Yes,
you
I've
allege,
not hidden
corruption.
it. I've not hidden. It's the case of Manasseh Azure's investigation, the 500 million, what do you call
But
it, contract.
you are
Later
waiting
became-
for another special prosecutor.
Yes, because
Until
Kissi-
that is done, then what?
Oh, we are just waiting for about 4 or 5 months to know whether Kissi
So
will
if it
leave
doesn't
or not.
happen, then what?
And
Let's
then I
just for
have
the
to
analysis.
review, but whichever way, at least, hopefully, there will be some reforms. Because even the president said the office should show relevance. So, assuming Kissi doesn't even leave, I expect that in the middle of the road, there will be reforms. So that henceforth, when you send a petition to the office, Kissi Agyapong alone will not sit on it like what he did to the SML and allowed Ofori Atta to run away from this country. That won't happen again.
Right.
So that when I present my petition, we expect that under a new law, it will go to a committee. He said they have been sat on several petitions.
So that's all I needed from you. The people who are watching keep reminding me about that promise that you made.
And the case is there. Manasseh is alive. Manasseh is my witness. The fumigation contract.
So the countdown is on.
Yes. So in 4 to 5 months, we'll know.
But then, in running up, Professor Boakye, I'll bring you in. As for Lamatik Bebo has been consistent. He's a lifelong ambassador for free SHS. But he says he would only look the MPP's way if Patrick Boama and Kojo Kyeremanteng become flag bearer and running mate. Either way.
One of them for flag bearer. Then another candidate from the north.
I see.
Yeah, it's become conventional.
Okay, great. Thank you. Prof, you see, I'm not drawing you into the politics of things, right? But you see the economy still being the bigger decider for 2028, as we saw in 2024.
Well, thank you very much. I understand GDP very well and associated figures. I've not followed the poll that much and all of that, but reflecting on your question, I think the economy will still dominate. At least in the last couple of rounds of the survey CDD does.
The Afrobarometer.
Yes, Afrobarometer consistently put the economy more or less at the forefront. And so far, if you look at this year, the economy has not responded optimally when it comes to job creation. We've made some progress and all of that, but we are not in the zone where the economy is delivering sufficient jobs, decent jobs, especially in the formal wage economy. Unemployment is still a big issue, even though the latest release indicate that it is marginally and all of that. So the economy will continue to dominate. It's not only Ghana. We have a youthful population. Between now and 2030 or 2040, our population will be 45 million. 30% of that population will be less than 30 years. They probably would have finished free senior high school, half-baked, enter the universities, and will be looking for jobs that probably exist in the textbooks and all of that. So those are the issues that will be confronted. If you look at the data, the World Bank told us that between 2012 and 2023, this economy on net basis has created just around 250,000 jobs. Within that same space, 2.7 million Ghanaians have entered the labor market annually. Close to 500,000 Ghanaians enter the labor market annually. So the economy will continue to dominate, especially when we are talking about job-rich growth. So for Ghana, and that is the reason why we should be careful when we celebrate GDP growth. Okay, we have moved beyond that.
GDP.
We are looking for job-rich growth. We are looking for inclusive growth because we are sitting on a time bomb. Okay. In fact, it's the reason why you see a lot of countries have moved beyond glorifying GDP.
And in fact,
others even call GDP as gross domestic product. Problem, not product. Gross domestic problem. Okay, so we need to understand our population demographics. We need, in fact, across the world, by 2050, we are told that 1 out of every 5 working population will be an African. Okay.
Yeah.
And the rest of them. So if you look at the dynamics, look, the stress is just too much. Some years back, decades back, we felt that by going to school was one way of crossing the poverty line, even if you didn't see the line. Now people have finished school, some 5 years and the rest of them. And that's why you see our politics is becoming violent because it appears it's the only way you can get something now, even if your competence didn't really or couldn't guarantee you that. So the economy will continue to dominate. And I'm sure that is where I see a bit of a challenge with the former vice president because of how the economy performed over the 8 years. And because the trump card had been that he was going to do something about the economy and all of that. So I'm hoping that.
So that's predicate on how the economy will be in 2028, assuming he is elected as flag bearer.
In either way, 2028 is going to be very difficult for the MPP. That is how I see it. If you look at the gap in terms of the vote numbers in 2024, and you compare that to what happened in 2016, and how long it took to close that gap and go into deficit in terms of unless something extraordinary happens, like we say in Ghana, it is not the opposition that wins, it's the incumbent that loses. So a lot will depend on how the current administration manages the economy, especially how they choose the successor to President Mahama, and how they manage all of that. But I lean towards a certain philosophy that says that if I had my own way, I would just tell all these headline people, take a back seat. You understand?
You are with Lawyer Martin Kebo on this.
I don't know, but the MPP should forgive me. I mean, this is not my area. I'm just...
Okay.
Allow me, they should allow me to make some mistakes.
He who feels it, knows it. No, you live in the economy, so you know.
If all of this is geared towards coming to power, then they should look at it carefully. And all of that, probably ahead of 2028 or so. But
because the Honorable Agyapong could put his money on Dr. Bawumia Campaign as the unifier, the new face, that kind of person who, will make a difference. And he's not changing his mind anytime soon. You're going with it.
Powerless.
Okay. Gentlemen, let me bring in Justice Abdullahi on this quickly. Just briefly on this.
But if I may, Honorable, why do you bank your hopes on Brian with the figures he's getting when you confess that you appreciate research better, and your candidate is nowhere close to even.
My hope comes from the undecided numbers.
But if you put the undecided plus the
then he will make a difference.
No,
then he
let's put it together. How many people are undecided? 9%. Or 19 now?
No, 9%.
9 now.
That's what I hear.
Plus 11.
That's 20. Add it to his. In fact, add all the other ones to his.
No, let's say it's 23 now. We have 1 year, one
more month
to go. And don't discount.
Yeah, working hard.
Don't discount the value of.
So you actually believe, hopefully, being possibly, with the heart of a nurse,
he doesn't.
That from 20, with the heart of a nurse, that from 20 you cross 51 in a month.
No.
When
I'm not
it has taken you close to a year.
No. I'm not
But anyway,
suggesting that
yes.
he can even make 51. What I'm suggesting is that
Yes.
If we put all the numbers together and he's able to say
25. Let's make it 25.
Become the second.
Yes.
Or
actually,
even the third.
From the records.
Listen, or even the third.
Yes.
Is he not going to be the one who will decide who becomes president?
Okay, so
in the event
that is with the presumption that everyone else remains the same, whilst he gets all the other ones.
Yeah, but
we've seen some movement.
Anyway, let's move.
So my whole point is about 3 people, and that's what we see.
Oh, okay, right. So my whole point is this. Let's look at 2016. John Mahama as against Akufo Addo, about 1.2 million votes difference. That took JM out of office. We move on to 2020 election, and the gap was almost negligible between the two sides. Now, this clearly, if you look at the trend from a huge margin to a complete drop, I think it was just about 100,000 difference in the 2020 elections. Now, so about 1 million of those votes vanished. You move to 2024.
Between
the same candidate.
It came to about 500,000. They have it. From 1 million
to
about 500.
Actually, almost a million. That's in 2016.
The 2016.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Then it came down to about 500.
Good. And then you come to 2024.
Yeah.
Even though Akufo Addo had left the scene, but so this time you move on. You probably make it party. Now between the same two parties.
Yeah. The gap.
From a person who lost with 1 million, let's adopt the 1 million vote. Now stretches, in fact, from negativity to making it even, and now jumping to almost 2 million difference between the same candidate, the same political parties. And then you say that in 2028, what happens?
they can lose all this.
Are you saying that the whole 2 million will be vanished or to be halved for MPP or whoever emerges from the MPP side to become a president? Okay. I think that's statistically near impossible. Statistically,
but
it's almost impossible.
You're basing just on statistics.
Yes, of course.
A lot happens beyond statistics.
Right.
So you don't want to box yourself into that.
Actually, I would want to box myself in the statistics because everything is about the numbers. And so if there could be other factors that could change that. But clearly, that's why I started from the 2016 elections. So within this space, if this could happen, my whole point is this. It is arguably, in fact, talking to my colleagues and friends in the MPP, their advice was that possibly, if they did not contest the next election, it would be better. Because regardless of what Martin says, right? Regardless of what Martin says, that it will take about a gargantuan looting for the MDC to lose the next election. I do not think that is a possibility happening, regardless of how gargantuan the looting would be. I see this from a realistic perspective, that the next election is a foregone conclusion, particularly when you take into consideration, now I take myself out of the statistical box, to the comments made by Ken over the years about all the people contesting and how those comments would impact. In fact, and the comments that are still coming, insulting the leading candidate, however, whether he wins or not is immaterial. But if your candidate, your most preferred candidate,
you mean Dr. Bawumia?
Yes, okay, is constantly under attack with all kinds of unsavory, unprintable words
by the closest
person, and either of the two could win. Don't be surprised to lose the next election because the same comment will be played back, whether in your favor or against you. Now, you have consistently attacked everybody in the political space, particularly within the MPP.
You mean
that's
Kennedy
Ken.
Agyapong?
Everyone. Just a couple of weeks ago, Sarah Ajosafo came out with some of those viral attacks on her person and on other women, generalizing it to other women. Then there were other people who brought about the attacks on pastors and other well-meaning individuals within this space. Now you have the candidate himself being under constant attack, being called a liar and all kinds of things. So would you be surprised if tomorrow we bring all these back? In fact, in the last election, those same comments, those same attacks were played back against Dr. Bawumia when Ken and his compatriots kept accusing Dr. Bawumia of superintending over a failed economy, economy that used to be from a dollar rate of about 3 cedis to 16 and 17 cedis, and all kinds of negative comments. Mm-hmm. So my whole point is this. You can go into these elections with some level of decorum rather than the personality attacks and all of that. Because if you don't want the numbers to go against you, then you should as well guide your words. The kind of things you say are material, because they are the things that, for those of us who sit on the fence, would rely on and vote against you or in your favor. Mm-hmm. Without any apology. In 2016, I voted for Akufo Addo because at the time, the elections were just clear that Mahama had superintended over a governance system that was completely failing, with doomsday and corruption almost on daily basis. And so clearly, Akufo Addo became a preferred candidate. Right. So it was not a surprising thing that he won by 1 million votes. But that ended my vote for Akufo Addo.
Okay.
And I'm sure most people here would say the same thing. Like my very good friend, in fact, he would never vote for Akufo Addo even until the day he dies. If Akufo Addo was to become...
But the good thing is that he's not going to contest the election.
Even if he did, even if he were to make any difference. Okay. And just imagine, he is coming from within, but more within than any of us here. Mm-hmm. So, my whole point is that.
But you did not solicit my view.
Well, because you have been a very good friend. So I know. I know.
Let's round this up.
I'm a very good friend. So
round it up for me.
After all these years, so my whole point is that we should go into this election where, with this mindset that we have to guard what we say, how we say what we say, and project the candidate such that if Ghanaians decide to look other way. I mean, just in case JM's election. Let's remember that most of the times, the real deciding factors occur in the last year or two before the elections.
True.
And so the first year, usually you don't get much controversies. Second year, things begin to take shape and stabilize. The third year is where all the pressures from stabilizing your roots in government and also, of course, making all the unpopular or sometimes even popular decisions that would get you the next vote.
Thank you.
And so all these things could play a lot of role in deciding whether the current system that we are witnessing will remain the same or go negative.
Perfect. Thank you. Justice Abdullahi Aldis, while we round up, Mr. Dankwa,
yes.
When is the next poll expected to come up?
24th of January.
24th January. That's about almost a month away from now.
Yes.
And that's
Why do we have to wait
for the
so
next
long?
election?
That'll
be a week before the election.
Trying to determine how the votes should be on the 31st.
Because 24th will be just some...
Yeah, 1 week before the election.
5 days? Yes, sir. About a week.
Yeah.
A week before the elections.
At that point, we could make fair assumptions about the behavior of undecided voters.
Right.
We haven't got much time for them to change. But if you allow them a long time, within that period, there will be some blind spot and you could be taking...
7 days is enough time to flip someone's mind.
No, but we'll see. Remember, we'll be tracking the poll from 1st January all the way to the end. Okay. So we'll see the pattern of behavior these people are exhibiting.
But what I will advise you is that leave space for error margin. There's a possibility of a surprise.
We always have margin of error.
Yes, and I'm assuring you that there is a possibility of a surprise.
2%.
You are banking your hopes on a surprise.
There will be a surprise.
There will be a surprise.
That will go contrary to the expectations of statistics.
And that will not be research.
It cannot be research.
That will not be research.
but then, you see, if you look at it, this is it. And I actually wanted to, it gives us a clear picture of how things are playing out right now. This is it, right? Let's put this on the screen. In terms of Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia's stronghold.
To the entire north.
Right? Northeast, northern.
Is this based on what?
That's the
strongholds.
Based on what data?
The likely voters. That is the breakdown that you put up.
Who did this?
No, I don't think. No, look, what we have right now.
Right.
Ken is only leading in central region and Volta region.
Central and Volta.
Yes. And Asante region is a tie in Asante region. Everywhere else, Bawumia is leading, but no less than 5 points.
I see. That's a very, very interesting play out of event, is it not?
Yeah.
So just Central and Volta.
Is Kennedy leading. And in Asante region, it's tie in Asante region. The rest of the regions, he leads comfortably. Western North, slightly closer, but he's still ahead.
Right. So these are the typical strongholds of Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia. You see that. Thank you very much, gentlemen. But then you talk about, Justice Abdullahi talked about the aftermath of the poll. You asked a question, will there be unity after the campaign? 89% of respondents said yes.
Yes.
That answers your question. Okay?
But the growing worry is that in the current poll, those who said no has jumped 6%, reflecting the sentiments of delegates from the weeks of campaign and the insult. And that is what they should be worried about.
Interesting. That's what Justice Abdullahi
unfortunately.
Zidakwa, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. And I know that the weekly poll you're going to be doing from January, even though you don't want to put it out, we'll have a sneak preview of it. And let's see how the 24th.
To know.
Yeah.
We won't let you know.
No. See,
okay. I'm running out. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.